everyone. My name is Jada.
My name is April.
And this is the MendHER podcast, where we focus on healing the little girl to restore the woman. And we do that through centering Christ and nurturing our body, mind, and soul. So how are you feeling today?
Feeling good. How are you?
It's been a week. But I'm very excited for the topic that we're going to be talking about today. And that is the art of fulfillment. I feel like in the society that we live in, I feel like we come to learn that fulfillment is through things. But I know, like, through reading our Bible, God really helps provide us with instruction on what fulfillment really looks like, what contentment looks like, and understanding that it's not in the things that we see in this world, but through living righteously, having a relationship with God, and basically following God, being obedient to God. So there were a couple of scriptures that I also pulled from the Bible that I really feel like is relevant to today's topic. The first one being Matthew 6:33, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. I also pulled John 10:10. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. And then Philippians 4:11-13. So 11, it says, I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. Verse 12 says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. And then my favorite, Philippians 4:13. Shout out to my IB crew. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. And so I feel like those were very relevant to today's discussion as far as what true fulfillment looks like. Because I feel like on this earth, we're all trying to find like our purpose, and we're trying to feel like dabble in these things in this earth to make us feel content, make us feel happy. But are they really making us feel happy? Are they really making us feel content, making us feel fulfilled, and like we're living the purpose that God has called us to live? And so I'm very, interested just to hear your perspective on how you feel about this journey of like being fulfilled and what that really looks like.
But first, the world wants to fulfill that void because they're trying to replace God.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not supposed to be replacing God where he's supposed to dwell.
Right.
So that's why we constantly trying to achieve this certain success by having this title at the job, having this fancy car, having this nice big old house, having the kids, being married, all this other stuff, but not really seeking God and asking him what he wants for our life.
Right.
Because I think once we seek him, he said he will add all these things unto you.
Exactly.
So we're out of order.
Right. And also understanding like the world is not our provider, God is.
Right.
And God knows our heart, and he knows what we really truly need. And, he also knows the things we need in order to become the person that he's already seen us become, because he's all knowing.
But that he wants us to become.
Right.
Because he still gives us
the
free
choice,
will
right,
to pick whether we want it or not. Because what the Bible also tells us that his thoughts are not our thoughts. And because he thinks highly of us, he knows what's best for us. But we tend to think we know what's best for us. And that's why we keep living in this cycle of trying to fulfill something that he already knows how to fulfill.
Exactly.
If we just ask him.
Right. And I think also we're always trying to fulfill things that we're lacking. And I feel like throughout this healing journey, that's kind of what going through the motions is just trying to find something to fill that hole that we have. But I know for me personally, like when I did start going to God to really ask him, like, heal my heart, but with not the things of this world, but through his love, and basically guiding me, giving me advice, giving me direction, so I'm not doing things through like my own strength. Because I feel like for me, when I try to do things that, this is what I should be doing, rather than consulting with God, like, what should I be doing? What needs to be healed first before I could even do the things that you want me to do as well? Because a lot of times, like you said, we're walking within this belief that we should be doing this without consulting with God first, and also without healing first. And so I feel like that's very important in order to go along this journey to becoming fulfilled, but through centering Christ as well through that journey.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So I guess the first question I wanted to really ask you was, what are some things we chase thinking that they fulfilled us? Like, what are some things in your life that you've chased thinking like this is gonna fulfill something? Or maybe you didn't think that, but like looking back, you thought that would have fulfilled something.
One was having a child.
And what were you trying to fulfill with that?
The void of love.
Mm.
I figured if I didn't get it as a child, maybe I could have a child and I'll give that child love.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, they definitely do. And I feel like that's a whole another conversation, because I definitely feel very strongly that not everybody should be a parent. And I don't think God has called everybody to be a parent. And that's a good point that you make, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to fill
he haven't called everybody to be a parent, because that is his blessing upon the earth is for us to multiply, be fruitful and multiply. So I'm not going to say that he doesn't want everyone to be a parent. However, he does want us to be in his will as parents. Mm-hmm. And I think if we are in his will, then it's okay for us to be parents, because we're not bringing on trauma unto these children. Mm-hmm. And that's part of being in his will, by knowing his word and following his word, being obedient, mm-hmm. and doing things the way that he instructs us to do them. Right. We wouldn't have all these broken families if we were following his guidelines. Right.
And I like how you put that, because that is a better way of phrasing it. Like, because I feel like a lot of people decide to have kids based on how they feel, but not, really listening to God. Like, maybe this isn't the time for you to have a kid. This is not the plans that I have for you right now. But mm-hmm. maybe in the future, like once you're healed, then that's a possibility. So I do definitely agree with you with that, because that is what God calls us to do in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So good point. I feel like for me, I think success, like in general, even though like at this age, I'm really starting to just like rethink what success even looks like. Meaning like, graduating from high school, going to college, getting a job that's securing like a good salary, getting a car, getting the house. Like, I feel like I was just chasing this idea of success, but after I hit each milestone, I still felt like very like depleted, very like not fulfilled.
Because you're trying to replace God with those things. Yeah. And until you really feel God where he's supposed, put mm-hmm. God in his rightful place and make him your first love, then you could fulfill all those things. Right. But we haven't properly put God back in his place.
Exactly.
Because he will fulfill all those things, meaning he is enough if we didn't get all those things.
Right. And I feel like it wasn't until I had read, was it Corinthians or Ephesians? It was a book in the Bible, and it was basically talking about how like all the things of this world are not really that like important. Like, there's other things that are more important, and the things in this life are very like finite, very, not that important. And I feel like it wasn't until I read that part in the Bible that I really began to understand like success isn't what I make it to be. And it wasn't, that's not what I should be chasing afterwards to become fulfilled. Mm-hmm. I need to be seeking God, and he's going to fill me. Like, mm-hmm. he's going to fill those empty parts in my heart and be able to guide me towards next steps rather than doing things through my own strength.
Because all the material things is just lanyard to God.
Yeah.
Like, he created all this. Right. It's just extra.
Right.
But once you are fulfilled with him, all that other stuff, that's bonus.
Right. Yeah. And so it wasn't until literally recently, like when I finally also sat down and stopped trying to chase the next big thing and really had to like sit in it and really reflect, okay, Jed, you was chasing all these different things, but you don't feel whole. So what is that telling you? And it's telling you that the things of this world is not what I should be chasing. I should be chasing after God. So it wasn't until like I had that epiphany that I began to like really rethink what success even means, or even just putting that at the forefront of like my focus. Because I also feel like with social media, for me personally, I feel like that was also like a big thing for me is like, okay, people my age are doing these great big things and looking at my life. But again, comparison is a thief of joy as well. And realizing that I shouldn't want what other people have as well, because that's not the plans that God had for me, and God doesn't want you to covet what other people have as well.
And also, too, you don't know how people
obtaining
what
that.
are they doing to get it,
Mm-hmm.
and how are they keeping it. I have always looked at it like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want what nobody else have. I want what God has for me.
Exactly.
But also, too, am I willing to pay the price that you paid to do it? Because everybody ain't getting stuff the right way.
Right. That's true. They just showing you the good parts, but not showing you the ugly side of things as well.
Right. And am I willing to lose my peace? Am I
integrity,
willing my integrity, character behind stuff?
Right.
It's never that serious.
Right. Yeah. But reading the Bible definitely helped put a lot of things in perspective. Like, I feel like it just really helps redirect your focus, because I feel like the world is just one big distraction from the thing that really truly matters. And I feel like reading the Bible is like, oh, like, okay, like it's putting things into a better perspective.
And not saying that you can't obtain those things,
right? Because God wants to bless you,
yes.
But yeah,
but it's just the way we go about getting it,
right? Yeah, so that's a good point. So I also want you all to like really reflect on what are some things that you are currently or have in the past like chased after in the desire to try to fulfill something or some part of you that hasn't been fulfilled, and really thinking like, is this really fulfilling me, and like, why are you chasing after that thing as well? Like, really do that reflection and inner thought work as well. So my second question is, why does external validation fade so quickly? So like, the validation from like others, like outside people, not yourself, but like, I guess like think of like, okay, if you do something well, you get rewarded for it, you get money for it, like those type of things. Like things like once you do something, you get rewarded for it. Like, why does that fade so quickly? Like money, for instance, like you could have people have all the money in the world, but they can still feel not fulfilled, not whole. But
because
why do you
still trying to fill a void that is only for God to fill?
Yeah.
There's no other answer.
Yeah.
That's why. And until you put God in his rightful place, you're going to continue chasing that thrill of fulfilling a void that wasn't meant to be filled by things.
Right. It really is a hard lesson to learn. I ain't gonna lie. It took me a while to learn that lesson. Like, I'm just sitting there like, okay, I done the thing, but I'm still not feeling at peace, happy, content. But like you said, it's yeah, God is that fulfillment. God is that contentment. He is that peace, the Prince of Peace.
Yes.
So, yes, makes so much sense. It definitely has helped me like really like not be so looped into this idea of like, I need more money, because God also wants you to be able to take care of what he's giving you.
I want you to be a good steward,
right?
And not just with money. We have to be good stewards in every part of our life,
right? With our time, talents, because God has also given us talents as well. And
also too, the reason why we're not being fulfilled is because God created us to be creators, to create things,
right?
To multiply. But yet we go sit on a job for 8 hours and we're not really utilizing our brain like he called us to utilize it.
Right. That's a good point.
We're just in the rat race, continuing to do and go in the rat race. But we're not feeling fulfilled because we on the same circle, just going around and around. We have a routine every day. And God has created us to produce,
right? Not
consume.
And we are literally a bunch of consumers. That's all we do is consume, or like copy and paste. Especially in this age of social media, I feel like everything is copy and paste. People don't have like their own like likes, desires, talents that they are nurturing. It's just all like, oh, that person do it, I could probably do it too. But that's not what God. I don't think God probably called you to do that thing. That's probably why it hasn't worked out for you. Because and that's something else I've come to realize. Like when certain things, like okay, you might see someone do something, you're like, oh, let me give that a try, and like it doesn't work for you. It's like, okay, that's not my calling.
Yes,
that's not my call. That's not my testimony. So that's something else. But that's a great point that you mean, like, why that external validation fades so quickly. It's because, like, we're
That's
not
not what
centering
you're
God.
supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not your purpose.
Right. Amen. So have you ever like accomplished something big but still felt like empty afterward?
Yes.
What's one thing that you accomplished that was big and you just still felt like
Like being promoted on the job and not feeling like I'd be like thrilled at the beginning, and then all of a sudden I'm like, God called me for more.
Yeah.
And I always known I've been called for more. So I easily, that validation go out the window real quick for me, no matter what it is, because I know he called me for more. And soon as he feel like I'm getting relaxed, he gotta throw a monkey wrench in and be like, come back.
Right.
I got other things for you to do.
That's a good point. I feel like for me, it was like graduating both times, my bachelor's and my master's. I felt like those are really big things. Well, let me backtrack. I really feel like my bachelor's, I feel like you could be a testimony to that as well. Like, after my bachelor's, I feel like I barely gave time to really like just sit back and really take note of like a lot of work that I did, like from high school on to then, because that bachelor's, it wasn't easy, especially during COVID. Like, it was so much going on in the world. People mental health was down. My mental health was down at one point. Like, it really wasn't no easy feat, and I feel like I just brushed it off like, okay, on to the next thing. And with my master's, I feel like I did try to take more note of like, okay, Jade, you did some great things, but you do need to take a break. You need to like really, because I feel like it was at that moment I knew like if I would have went straight into my PhD, I feel like I still would have been chasing the same thing. I feel like that gap between my master's and now really gave me a good opportunity to center God. Because once I got my master's, I still just felt like a void. And I was just like, okay, Jada, what are you trying to chase after and what do you need to chase after? Like, you're trying to chase after this idea of success, but that's not what you should be focusing on. And I feel like it was that year that I dived into my Bible, and we had like a conversation like, like, Jada, I really want you to like really dive into your Bible and really connect with God. And, because it's one thing to go to church, but you really need to like connect with God and really know the word. Yeah. And so I feel like it wasn't until then. I remember I'll be reading about when I be telling you and grandma like, oh, like, this is like some great stuff that I'm reading and how it applies to my life and just changing like my idea of things that, I've come to understand through the world, but not through God's lens and God's eyes. And so that helped really change that idea of success and helped me become more content in like everything that I've done so far, but also knowing that relying on God for like my next steps ahead and really redirecting me in the direction that he wants me to go, instead of doing things through my own strength and just taking a break to figure out, okay, if I do go for my PhD, like, what does God see that looking like?
Right.
And so that was just something that was very helpful. And I feel like throughout this period of like not doing school and not having this identity as a student has been very peaceful, has been very like, it's just been a great experience because it's been really just redirecting my focus on God and really connecting with what he says his purpose for my life is.
Yeah, because just like me switching jobs in 2022, which I knew it was God told me to switch jobs because I wasn't planning on switching jobs. It just happened that way. And when I did switch jobs, I didn't know it was I knew he told me to rest, but I didn't know it was going to come with rest like that because I was used to doing so much overtime. And when I realized I wasn't getting no more overtime, I enough to crash out.
You was crashing. Y'all, that girl was crashing out. It was like, I needed Jesus. I need it. And Jesus like, no, you don't.
And it wasn't that I needed it. It was just the fact that now I got the same paycheck every 2 weeks.
And yeah.
Because I was so used to my check not being the same every 2 weeks.
Do you think that was also like God calling you to rely on him than you relying on money? Do you feel like you were doing that? And do you feel
No,
like
he was
that?
really calling me to rest because
Mm-hmm.
I was working too much
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to rest.
Yeah.
And I knew because he told me, he said, April, you're going to rest. But I wasn't ready to rest.
Right.
So I was upset because I had to rest, even though I
Mm-hmm.
know I needed to rest.
Right.
But it just took about 2 years ago, or either last year, where I got content with resting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, God, now I understand why you said I needed to rest.
Right. And so now, how do you feel after making that
Oh, I
transition?
feel better because I know it was God's plan. I just ain't
Mm-hmm.
understand that that's how he was gonna make me rest.
Yeah.
But it all worked out for my good.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, I just learned that because I have my health and my strength, and also knowing that this brain that he has given me,
Mm-hmm.
that I could do anything.
Yeah. And I definitely do feel like since that transition, you have been having like you've been having a lot of ideas, and I feel like this podcast, like the rest that you have now, I feel like you are creating, you are doing different things, and really, flexing those skills that you have, and really doing a lot of self-development work for yourself as well. So I definitely see that reflected for sure.
Yes, and it's all working out like planned, and that's part of me seeking him and and asking him what does he have planned for me, and not what do I have planned for myself.
Right.
Because I'm gonna tell you, when I got out of school, or before getting out of school, you write all these plans down in your yearbook or whatever, thinking this is the life you're gonna live, and only for you to find out.
Yes. It's funny that you said it, because I was looking at like letters I wrote to my senior self, as a senior in high school, like freshman me to high school senior me, and I was just like, girl, if only you knew. If only you knew it was not gonna go out like this. But also, I felt like reading that, I was very like content with that, because I didn't really write down like specific, like you're gonna be this. Like I did, but in that one letter that I read, I didn't. The one thing I had wished for myself is that you're happy and you're content with whatever you're doing. That's the words that I used to myself, and I was like, I like that younger me still knew, like, regardless, that wasn't the main thing that I really cared about deep down. It was more just like staying true to who you are, um, and really just being content in whatever that is that you're gonna do. Because I feel like I knew as a young person that what I had planned for myself probably wasn't gonna happen. And like looking back, it's like that's definitely right. Because now I'm more trying to focus on what God wants me to do, rather than what I want to do.
And then I'm learning too that once you begin to seek God and he start adding those things to you, you won't be quick to waver when things not going the way that you want it to go, because you'll have a firm foundation in him, and knowing that no matter what storm, because storms are still going to come.
Yeah.
No matter what storm or situation come, you already deep down in that foundation of him to understand that, okay, I don't have to waver. I don't have to shake. I don't have to let my emotions control how the way I'm going to handle this situation, because I already know that God told me to just stand and be still. And you know the word enough to know how to maneuver through those different type of situations. So that's why I know that's one of my favorite scriptures, and that's the one I had for this year, that I was going to see God and let him direct me, and not me directing myself. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that sometimes I don't be trying to go off on my own, but I quickly
because you know what the out results are doing that.
Yeah. So I really reposition myself and ask God to put me back on the right track.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with it. Definitely agree with you with that. And that's a great point, because I feel like recently, remember I was applying for school last year and I didn't get into the school, but I really feel like I had like a positive outlook on it. And because like even when I was applying, I was just saying, God, let this be your will. Like, let your will be done. And whatever happens, I'm not gonna let that waver, like waver who I am and the plans that I know you have for me. But just speak to me. Just also quiet that hurt, because of course I felt hurt about it, but it's just like I didn't feel a need to try to push it further than what it was. Like, this is what it is. Now let's, move forward and just ask God for guidance on next steps, but not letting that define me or, anything like that. Because there have been previous things where I feel like because I did let success like guide me instead of letting God guide me, I felt more hurt from rejection.
Right.
Like rejection in that sense of like, oh, you deny, you didn't get this or you didn't get that. But now it's just like, okay, God, like speak to me. Tell me like what is the lesson I'm supposed to get out of this? Where are you trying to direct me?
And being denied is just redirection.
Exactly.
Because I know me not finishing my bachelor's degree, I ain't feel no kind of way, because I ain't even gonna lie to you. I can't sit in no classroom that long. My attention span, I just don't. I'm going to work, being at work 8 hours, and then going to sit in the class for 3 hours. My brain is already off from at work, so I'm not about to sit there. And knowing I only had a year and a half left to go, I was like, Lord, I can't do this. And he told me, he was like, bro, I don't even know why you're doing it, because you already qualified you. Mm-hmm. You don't need a degree to tell you who you are.
Right.
And then I had to realize, okay, am I getting a degree because I need this for my job, or am I getting this degree to make me feel fulfilled? Mm-hmm. And once I determined that, okay, I'm just doing this to say that I'm satisfied, knowing that's not going to satisfy me, I just stopped going. Right. And I got tired of getting in debt.
That part. And I look at it. The master's is a new bachelor at this point. They keep moving the doggone goalposts.
They gonna have that degree back.
But that's definitely a good point. Okay, so what's the difference between y'all? What's the difference between worldly success and spiritual fulfillment? I feel like you kind of talked about it earlier.
Worldly success is you having a certain status. You're being looked at as successful because you have all the material things, and you could still be broke. But the spiritual aspect is when you have joy, unspeakable joy, no matter what's going on, you have that joy and that peace.
Right.
That's the greatest success, is having peace, because you have a lot of people that have the society quote of success and don't have no peace.
None. Chaos.
They don't have no joy.
That part. Anger.
I would rather have joy and peace, and I already told you I'd rather peace over money.
Hello. Because I don't want the title. I don't want the top executive. No, because when money does come problems, I don't care what nobody say. Money can solve problems when you use it as a tool, sure. But if we had a hierarchy, yes, I need my emotions. I need joy. I need those things first.
And I'm not saying I don't want money.
Right.
Because money is a tool. Mm-hmm. Money is not controlling me. I control it.
Right.
But what I mean is, if it comes with me not having peace, I don't want it.
Right. Like, that's not what you're chasing after.
And that's not just money. That's relationships too. If a relationship is going to cost me my peace, I'd rather be by myself. It's not that serious. And you know I'll leave in a minute.
Cut. Facts. No, yeah. Yeah, because I feel like, I'm not chasing after no money.
You shouldn't be chasing after money. Money should be chasing after you, because you control money. You tell money where to go.
And I also feel like when you are being obedient to God, the money will come. Mm-hmm. Like, God rewards you for being obedient, not disobedient. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like all those things, all the positive things will flow by just being obedient to God. Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at it.
Now, sometimes people do get blessed for being, now I ain't going to say being disobedient, but the devil have his way of making you look like you blessed, but you're really not blessed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So now we're going to like shift gears a little bit and like talk about, because I kind of touched on it a little bit with like the social media part, but like, comparison and how that like impacts people's idea of success, but also like, their desire to be fulfilled by these things of the world. But how, if applicable, of course, how has comparison impacted your ability to feel content?
I don't recall comparing myself to people. If it is, it's not in a negative way where I'm saying, oh, because this person has this, I want it. If I compare, it's because, okay, I need somebody who's higher than me so I can reach higher.
Right. Yeah, it's a motivational
as a
tool.
Motivational tool to reach higher. But not a comparison, oh, this person is better than me because they have X, Y, and Z.
So has that idea of like how you view, because that's what I would think of comparison to. Like, I think of like when I'm looking on social media, it is a motivator, but does that still impact how you feel emotional wise? Like, do you still feel...
I don't look at social media as comparison because a lot of people are lying on social media.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. But like just looking at it for just looking at, because I could hold two things could be true, but just like for me personally, like looking at social media, we feel the emotions first. At least for me. I know for me, I feel the emotions first, but then I have the thoughts like, you know, it's not out of malice, like that person don't deserve that, but it is like like how did that person get there, and what do I need to do to elevate to get to where I want to be? Not saying that I want what they have, but like, you know.
Right, but my thing is, how do you know they got there the right way? That's what I'm saying. I guess not what you saying is wrong because that's how the way you see social media. I just see social media as social media. Now, the people that I follow, I know how they got the things that they have. That's the ones that I choose to follow, that I know they actually did the work and actually was seeking God or whatever like that. A lot of the other stuff, I just keep it scrolling because, first of all, I don't know how you got it. And I don't want to do the things that you did to get it, which I still don't know how you got it. So I'm not even trying to figure that out. But social media is social media to me.
Okay. So no, the comparison has never like affected how content you feel. Okay. Well, I guess I don't know if any of these questions would apply then. So
what?
Like, why do we feel behind when watching other people's lives online?
I think you feel behind because you're using social media as a measure. Instead of making your own measurement.
I feel like it makes sense. I feel like it makes sense why we have like differences on how social media has impacted us, because one, my generation I'm about to say that. My generation grew up with social media. So, and I feel like when y'all were growing up, y'all didn't have access to all everybody's lives to really see like how people are living. You just heard word of mouth, and 9 times 10 you was like, that person probably lied anyway. So it's like,
no, but I know you in real life, so that's why I don't be paying attention.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like, because I always just wonder what was that disconnect with like how we perceive social media, but that's what it is. That's definitely what it is. It's like you didn't grow with social media, so it didn't
affect us.
Yeah,
like
that'd be a good study to conduct, like how social media impacts older generations versus like people Gen Z and down. Because since we grew up with social media, I want to see how that impacts Gen Alpha. Like they just grew up in a world where like everything's at their disposal. They have insight to everybody's lives, and also like with social media, I feel like everybody posts everything about their lives. Like you could know how many toes a person have just looking at somebody's social media, what type of car they have and everything.
And I'm not gonna lie, I got caught up into that when Facebook first came out, and you just thinking you just innocently posting, and then it took, I think 2018 when you was graduating, and it was like, April, stop posting everything because you got monitoring spirits on here and they just want to watch and have something to say. And then that's how people pray against you. And that's what made me stop posting stuff. Like, I don't post my every move on there.
Same.
I've been stopped that. Like, I don't even really be posting pictures of myself because I know they have hateful people out there praying against me. So that's why I really stopped posting on social media.
Yeah, I don't do it for security reasons. Like, people been doing like house tours and stuff, like that's dangerous.
Yeah,
apartment tours and all that's dangerous. But back to the question, that makes sense. Like why? Because I always wondered. I was like, So social media just don't affect her at all. And I don't feel like it don't affect you at all. I just feel like the degree to which it affects you doesn't affect you as extremely as it does for me, because that's not what you grew up. Like you had a period in time when everybody were doing their own thing in their own bubble and not focused on like social media and like what everything else
But
is going on
also
in the
too, I
world.
realized that people don't post
The
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 bad
bad.
part. You only posting the good part. So
Right.
that's why I'm paying no mind. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's not what you experiencing, but you're not willing to show people how you got to where you got. I don't.
Yeah.
I just let it go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. Because I be holding that in mind, but I feel like for me it's the emotions first. Like I feel the emotions first, but I am thinking those things like, okay, like I don't know how that person got that, and that's not, if it's not meant for me, it's not meant for me, whatever, God, obviously. But for me, like with social media, I feel like it does impact for us, because I feel like social media became more popularized when we were like in middle school. And I feel like middle school is when you're really formulating your identity, your idea of what your life will be like. That's a lot of times you can ask questions like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Those type of things. And I feel like transitioning from pre-social media, when you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be an astronaut, I'm gonna be a teacher, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, and then you transition to where social media is popularized and not people just being an influencer. People are not having traditional jobs, and like all of a sudden, like being an influencer is like the thing that is popularized. Like, oh, you should do this instead, like go on brand trips, stuff like that. Not saying that's what I want to do. I'm just saying like trying to help you understand like why I feel like it affects me more than you, because social media also impacts our idea of what you should be hitting at certain milestones. Cause like when you're a kid,
well, it's allowing you that because you're not seeking God.
Right. No. Right. But I'm not even saying speaking of that. I'm just speaking like me helping me understand why social media doesn't impact you in a way that it impacts me is what I'm saying. Like, growing up thinking like, okay, at 22 you been graduated from college, but then when social media is popularized, you see what other 22-year-olds are doing. Even like the idea of like you get a car at 16 or something like that. I mean, I never had that idea because I was like, if I'm a terrible driver, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. But like seeing people get like high rise apartments like 18, or like certain luxury vehicles at 18. Again, agreeing
and
like how people are getting that and stuff. Yeah.
But that's because parents are trying to buy their children instead of teaching their children. Because I feel like they have parents that feel because they didn't have what they wanted when they was that age. Oh, I'm gonna do that to give this to my child. But are you teaching your child how to be responsible? I don't think it's a good idea to put a child behind a vehicle at the age of 16 and they can't even be responsible for their own self. Like, teach them how to be responsible first before you just start giving them cars, giving them a place to stay or whatever like that. Teach them how to be responsible. Then you let them gradually get those things and earn it. Because they're not going to appreciate it if it's not earned.
Right. But the ones that I was speaking about with the car situation, that's like the 16-year-old buying themselves the car. Because I mean, like in the influencer era, like a lot of them are making money from influencing. So they're buying the car. That's what I was talking about. But I definitely still agree with your point. Like,
they're still not responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So I will just skip those questions then. Because, yeah. So I guess we'll move into like, what do you think like actually creates a fulfilled life? So what habits make you feel spiritually and emotionally grounded?
Gratitude. Giving God thanks every day. Because just me breathing.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times I be forgetting, like, I probably couldn't have woke up today, and that's one thing definitely be grateful for. Like, God gave me another day on this earth.
And to be in my right mind. Because they have a lot of people that's not in their right mind. So just being grateful and giving God thanks every day makes the day much easier.
Yeah. But that's a good point with the breathing point. Because when I be having my little sinus problems, I be like, God, I'm so sorry I took for granted my ability just to breathe out my nose and not having to breathe out my mouth. Because I feel like those be some humbling moments for sure. But yeah, I think gratitude for sure. I know I had started journaling this year. kind of slipped off like in April, so I'm gonna definitely start back with that. But that was something like in my journal. I had like like a section where I would just like listed out 5 things I was grateful for the day, and a lot of times it definitely was like just being able to, like walk, like be able bodied, be close to my family and the people around me, but God first
And
as
to
well.
be thankful for our health. There are a lot of people that's sick out here.
Yeah.
And to know that healing comes from within, meaning dealing with childhood trauma and stuff like that. Because a lot of people don't understand they're sick because of stuff they have buried and refuse to deal with.
Right.
That affects your internal organs.
Yeah, unforgiveness and
Yes, and
anger and resentment. Yeah.
Your body reacts to all those emotions.
Yeah, especially because they're stressors, and like when our body's in stress, you really do feel the effects of it. Because I feel like when I'm stressed out, I just notice I gain a lot of weight in my face, and that's like the cortisol face. I think that's what they call it.
It also stores memory.
Yeah.
Of everything.
Yeah. So definitely, get all that out. And I feel like the gratitude, journaling in general as well, just definitely helps.
And praying.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are good habits. I guess like also like piggybacking off of gratitude, like how does gratitude like change your perspective like during like difficult seasons? Like say you had a rough day or a rough season, like how did that?
When I go back thinking about all the things that God has brought me through, and just saving my life from the times that I should be dead, that's enough. Like that just changed my whole perspective. Or just listen to someone else's story always changes my perspective. Like, okay, April, you ain't got it as bad as you thought you did.
Yeah.
Stop that complaining.
I think that's the big one for me. Cause I feel like when I am complaining, I'm like, all right now.
You're doing too much.
You got a roof over your head. You have food going in your belly every night. You have a mom that loves you. You have a dad who loves you. Yeah, they're not in the same house, but they still equally love you and care for you. The world is not on fire. Like your world is not on fire.
But also too, I don't like complaining because that just make more problems.
Yeah.
Exist, and I don't like problems. So.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely a good point. What role does community and healthy relationships play in fulfillment?
I want to say, like, I really admire your friendships. Like, the friendships that you have since junior high, high school, I really feel that those are fulfillment relationships. Because I don't feel y'all compare each other. I don't feel y'all in competition with each other. It's like y'all equally are there for each other and cheering each other along the way. And even when y'all have y'all bad moments, all of y'all are together with each other no matter what.
Right.
So I really believe that those type of relationships are very vital for you to be fulfilled as well as having healthy relationships.
Yeah, I definitely do feel like having my friendships and just like a healthy community overall. Like I feel like my circle, not just talking about friends, but like you, grandma, TD, like my boyfriend, my siblings. I feel like it keeps you. I feel like that's one of the things that I look back like I'm so grateful for, because during those rough seasons, it's nice to have not only God to consult with, but someone in the physical to consult with as well. That's also like on the same wavelength as you. I mean, like all my friends, yeah, we have our different paths, but at the same time we all come together and still nurture each other. We fill each other's cups. No one is draining each other and not filling each other's cup. We're all just filling each other's cups and giving, love, care where it's needed. And so I feel like that has been helpful in just like keeping me, when you are having those down times, being able to connect with my girls, by just doing an activity or just going to dinner and just being able to have these type of conversations, like, what's really going on and giving advice, and also, advice around like, Christ, and reading our Bibles to really help us become the people that God has called us to be as well, and not trying to do things, through our own strength. So I feel like having that community is definitely something I'm 100% grateful for, because I feel like not everyone gets that village. Um, Being like equally nurtured in all aspects, like family, friends, relationships, platonic and romantic. And I feel like that is one thing I do thank God for every day, is that he put the right people in my life.
Right.
So yeah. Um, and then what does a purpose driven life look like outside of career success?
Purpose driven is doing what God called you to be.
Mm-hmm. And being
Walking in your
obedient, yeah, and
purpose.
being obedient to God, and not doing things through your own strength, or thinking like the plans that you have for your life are the plans that God have for your life, but really consulting with Him.
And knowing your purpose in life.
Yeah.
Knowing who you are
Mm-hmm.
in Christ Jesus. Knowing your identity in Him. Because once you know your identity in Him,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the world tells you, you will stand 10 toes down knowing, okay, I don't have to accept that because I know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you are called to do.
Yeah. Speaking of like knowing who you are and your identity, I don't know why I just thought about this, but it kind of makes me think to like even just breaking down like what our name means. And I always thank you for like really like being very like intentional in my name, because I feel like that also helps me realize like I'm living up to my name for real.
You are.
And I feel like she was so like she was on it. And you wanna tell the people when you was like thinking about my name and you did your research what it means?
Jada means to know, wise, the knowing one, and one who has understanding. Alexis means to defend, and a helper.
And I feel like I've definitely like lived up to those names as far as like being a helper. I feel like I'm always trying to seek to understand before like just responding. And so I feel like when I just reflect on that, a lot of times I'm like, okay, like I'm living to what God is calling me to be, and like living up to my name as well. So that was just something that I just wanted to share with you all, that just made me think of make me think of that. So yeah. So, and for our final topic, just about like learning contentment, and wait while you're waiting on that fulfillment in every season. My first question is, why is contentment so hard in waiting seasons?
Because we want what we want.
You want that instant gratification.
Yes. And we feel that we should have it when we want it. But during that time of waiting, I have learned to wait well.
Yeah.
And when you wait well, that during your waiting well, you should be asking God, what am I supposed to be learning from this? What do I need to develop in my character? What part of me needs to be developed when you're waiting? That's part of waiting well. Because waiting well is not you complaining about
what didn't work out, and but
right.
Yeah.
So when you learn to wait well, meaning stop taking that pause or that time when things are not moving like you want it to move, to understand, okay, what is God trying to develop in me?
Right. What is He trying to get me to learn from while I'm waiting? Because
God knows the right timing to give us what we need, because He could give it to you, but will you keep it? He could give it to you, but will you lose it?
Right.
He could give it to you, but will you fumble the bag? So it's not a problem of Him giving it to you. Are you ready for what He wants to give you?
Right. and what do you need to do in order to prepare you for it? Because I
Yes.
feel like a lot of the waiting season is really just preparation. He's prepping you, he's building you, he's helping you grow in areas where you probably haven't grown, or and it's during those times where we are experiencing those challenges that a breakthrough is coming through. Like God is prepping something for us to reward us with and bless us with. So I definitely have looked at those periods where I feel like nothing is going on. No, something is going on.
Yeah.
Something big is coming.
You just need to wait well.
Yeah.
And during that waiting well, you need to be asking God, what do you need me to do while you doing whatever you doing behind the scenes? Because I know what you're doing behind the scenes is going to be for my benefit. It's going to be for my good. But also too, when you're waiting in contentment, is also you telling God, I'm gonna let you be God. Yeah. And I'm not trying to figure this out.
Right. And it's also during those moments of like the waiting season, I'm also doing some inner reflections to really ask myself, am I taking care of the things that God has blessed me with currently? Like, have I really been a good steward over the things that I currently have in my life? Because God has blessed you before, so why would I think he wouldn't bless me again?
Right.
So really just reflecting and making sure I am being a good steward as well of the current things that I have, and being grateful for what God has provided for me, so that I could take care of the things that he's blessing me with in the future, and he's prepping for me as well. So that's a good point. I feel like we kind of touched on this, but just in case we haven't, like, have you ever mistaken movement or busyness for purpose?
Yes, and a lot of us do.
Yeah.
Cause girl, I'm busy. Yeah, but are you being productive?
Right. Yeah.
There's a difference in being busy and being productive.
Yeah.
Are you really moving the needle? Because you could just be busy with a lot of stuff, but that don't mean you're being productive. That don't mean you're moving the needle to the next level that you're supposed to be going to.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of times I thought like, oh, I'm just so busy, but really just reflecting on like, what am I doing that is making me busy, and is it in alignment with what God wants me to be doing? And
busyness could be just you not dealing with what you supposed to be doing, and it's being distracted.
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt with like just chasing degrees. I was just like, okay, am I just doing this to keep myself busy, to keep myself from really sitting with the things that I really need to deal with in order to get to the next level that God is really trying to be like, no, you need to come over here and do this instead. Like, stop trying to fill my life with distractions.
I did that with shopping.
I did it too. I definitely did it too. And I feel like I still do it every now and then, but I feel like when I really get into like that deep rabbit hole, I do be like taking a minute to be like, all right, Jada, like, what's really going on here? Because I feel like it's such a learned behavior that I just do it so often. But I knew it was a problem when I knew like I don't really just buy nothing. Like, I'm not an impulsive shopper. I'm a scroller. Like, if I need to take my mind off of something, that's like the way to stimulate my brain to like calm down. But it's like, all right, what we trying to not address? Like, what is the emotion that we're not trying to just deal with? Really just like feel the emotion, but have a game plan on how we're going to get out of this emotion. I don't want to sit with these negative emotions. I want to be able to, consult with God, ask him to reveal whatever needs to be revealed to me, and then doing an action plan to really get out of that funk. Because that's something I definitely have realized. Like, I'm not, hitting the purchase now button, but I am just adding a cart and just shifting between websites.
Like right now, if I'm totally being honest, I feel overwhelmed.
I can agree. And the funny thing is, I feel like when you feel the way, we both be feeling the way, we both be going through like a similar season at the same time.
And it's not a bad overwhelm, but I know once I start doing something, it's like all of a sudden everything else start happening. And I'm purposely not allowing myself to get in my head and be like, April, you can't do this, because I can't do it.
Right. I
just need to prioritize, and I just need to continue going. And I know this is a test, because every time I get in a situation like this where multiple things are happening at once, I will stop. Yeah. And I done made a promise to myself that I'm not stopping.
And that's what I'm saying. It's so funny because yesterday I was just telling my boyfriend this. I was just saying like, oh, I gotta lock in. I gotta prioritize me. I know it's about to get hectic in the summer, but I can't fumble my other goals. Like I gotta keep going with the podcast. I also gotta get back with my health. And it's funny because we didn't talk about this morning, but when you send me that text, that's why I don't know. It's something we're just here. Cause I texted you good morning. It really was just I was doing a temperature check just to see like how was your day going. And so when you text me back, why you being nice? I'm like, I'm not being nice, but I'm really doing a temperature check because I just felt the need to I just felt the need to just reach out to you. Because, usually I don't. Like, because but I hadn't seen you, like, for the entire weekend. So I was like, let me just do a temperature check. And so when you had sent that text, you was like, yeah, because we got to remember to get back on our goals and not, fumble everything else. And when you said that, it was funny because today was literally my day to start fresh. Like, really, like, get back journaling, get back to read my Bible, like, every day, like how I was daily. Prioritizing my health, but also not getting overwhelmed by everything else, like work and stuff like that I'm not prioritizing the things that I need to prioritize. Meaning like everything is going to get equal care.
Right.
Shifting my schedule so that everything is getting equal care, but I'm not overwhelming myself.
Right.
And also not paying too much attention to that negative emotion, but just focusing on the positive. And once we get over this hump, like what is that breakthrough going to look like in the end? Because I feel like for us to both be going through that feeling how we're feeling, but also feeling like we're juggling so many different things at once and wearing so many hats at once, it has to be something beautiful at the end of the day.
Yes.
And that's how I've been telling Cameron that. I'm like, I feel like, yes, I'm not going to say, I don't want to put that out there, but I'm saying like, I know the momentum is picking up, but I feel something good coming. And that's all I kept saying over the weekend.
And by me going to that conference and hearing the words disruption always follows intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this is the disruption that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So intention needs to follow.
Right.
And I'm just determined to keep the intention following.
Right.
Even though there has disruption going on, I'm not going to allow that to stop me from what I have been told to do by God.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I feel like we're trying to do better at is being a good steward over our time.
Yes.
Because I feel like we can do it all. We can't have it all. We can have the job, but also be successful in the thing that we're trying to do for ourselves, like with the podcast, with other business ventures that we have outside of the podcast. Like, we just have to be a good steward of our time.
And this is part of fulfillment for me.
And really connecting back to your why am I doing this?
Yes.
Like, why am I waking up every morning doing the things that I'm doing? And when you centering back to that why, I feel like a certain peace comes over you and understand like I'm not doing all this for nothing.
But I know this is what God called me to do. And I know because God called me to do that, disruption is going to try to come in.
Exactly.
But I have to know that even though I'm feeling all this, I know that God is in the midst of it. And he's going to carry me through. So immediately when I start having those feelings, I'm constantly saying, God, I know you are with me. I know you are walking with me. You're talking with me. And I know you give me your strength, your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding. So God, keep building me up.
Right.
Build me up with your strength. I'm not doing this on my own strength, but in your strength.
Right. And it definitely comes back to that piece. Like when you feeling those emotions, really like asking yourself, like, am I trying to do this through my own strength and not through God's strength? So I feel like, again, when you cast your cares on God,
right,
and you tell him the desires of your heart and the things that you need, he gonna find a way to.
Yes. And that's when you lean on his understanding and not your understanding. And I'm like, okay, God, this making me feel this way, but I know you told me that you're going to be with me every step of the way.
Right.
So because you are with me, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And I keep telling myself over and over. Every time that negative emotion try to come, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. When I was exercising this morning and I felt it was getting too hard, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
That was me this evening. I was like, whoo. I did this for 3 months straight, January to March, and I look at me struggling, knees creaking. I'm like, I'm too young for my knees to be doing this. I'm too young. But just looking at my vision board and also like the things that I had set for this year and the things that I talked to God and asked Him for is just like, all right, I need to be a better steward of my time and still honor the things that I said that I was going to do this year. So
yeah, so that's where my fulfillment is coming in, is being truthful to myself, but also honoring God for the things that He has given me, and by being a good steward of the things He have given me, but also telling myself the truth and doing what I promised myself. I owe it to me.
Right. Yep. What does surrendering your plans to God actually look like?
That's you praying, and when you praying, you are telling God, I surrender every area of my life to you, and seeking His face and asking Him in those areas what is His plans for you.
And I think for me, centering my plans is like also being honest to God and saying, God, I'm sorry for trying to do this through my own strength. And I know you've been telling me, you've been talking to me, you've been trying to direct me down this path, but I've been trying to do other things. So also like
repenting for being disobedient.
Yeah. So I feel like that is definitely something that I have done when I feel like I've been disobedient, and I've definitely got the results from being disobedient. So really, coming to God and being remorseful and repenting to Him, and then asking Him for redirection. Yeah. So that's all the questions that I had for us. So that we're gonna segue into the game, and this one is called Fulfilled or Filling a Void. So there's 4 scenarios in here. We could each read 2, and then we just have some follow-up questions that I'll just ask us to answer. You want to go first?
Someone consistently stays busy to avoid being alone with themselves.
So do you feel like this person is fulfilled or trying to fill a void?
Trying to fill a void.
What do you think they're truly searching for? I know it's pretty vague. What do you think? Or what are some things that people who are trying to fill a void, what are some things that they could be trying to fill?
But I think with this one, someone consistently stays busy to avoid being alone. They don't want to sit with themselves to deal with the real truth.
Like why they like getting down to the nitty gritty, like why they can't be alone.
Why you can't be alone, why you can't sit with yourself and not absolutely do anything. What are you trying to avoid? And what is it that you're trying to fulfill?
Yeah.
But you are avoiding.
Yeah. I agree. A woman seems successful online but feels disconnected in real life. Definitely trying to fill a void.
By being seen online.
Yeah, I feel like that this is like kind of touching on the idea of like trying to portray one thing but not trying to deal with the truth of like what's really going on in your life. So I feel like that definitely is running away from some type of truth that she's trying to bury.
Yeah, but you're trying to fill a void by being seen online, but you're really not fulfilled in real life.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like you're trying to you're trying to portray this narrative in order to cover up what's really going on. And I feel like you're running away from what's really going on. Yeah.
Someone keeps entering relationships hoping another person will complete them.
I think that's like running away from like stuff, like being able to love themselves, not loving themselves, not loving who they are. Because I feel like they're trying to fill that void of not feeling loved.
Right.
But I feel like it's something deeper. Like you don't love yourself. Because I feel like you have to love yourself before you could love others. And know the right way that you want to be loved as well.
And you have to find, you should already be complete before you even get in a relationship.
Exactly.
And that being complete is knowing your identity and knowing who you are and whose you are.
It doesn't say she's jumping from relationships to relationship.
Someone keeps entering relationships hoping another person will complete them. You feel in the void of not feeling completed.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like when people jump from relationship to relationship, I feel like relationships, whether platonic or romantic, I feel like they do kind of reveal something about yourself that people may not like, and that's why they're trying to jump to another relationship, I guess, in hopes that their relationship gonna not tell them the truth that they already know it really is, if that makes sense. 'Cause I know for me personally, like, all relationships that I've been in, whether that's platonic or romantic, I feel like that is a reflection of me. Because I feel like the people that you gravitate towards, that is a reflection of you. The people that you hang around, that's a reflection of you. And if you're constantly jumping from relationship to relationship, I feel like that's because you're probably gravitating to something that's telling you something about who you are, and you're not trying to acknowledge it, address it, resolve it. And that's how I interpreted that situation. But definitely, for sure, trying to fill a void.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to do this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. The last one. A person achieves every milestone but still struggles with peace. I feel like this is me. This was me.
Filling the void.
Yeah. For me, it was definitely like that, trying to chase this idea of success when I was like, after graduating with my bachelor's. But I wouldn't say struggling with peace, but just struggling with the ability just to sit still and just be content, like, with where I've done so far, and really just like,
that's identity.
Yeah, it definitely was identity, and also just trying to map out what I thought I should be
doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our game segment of fulfilled or filling a void, and I really want you guys to really reflect on these scenarios, but also like personal scenarios that you are going through, and really reflecting on like the behaviors that you're doing. Is this me trying to fill a void, or am I truly fulfilled by whatever it is that you are doing? And also consult with God and ask him for direction and where, you should be going, what things you should be doing in order to become the person that God has called you to be.
But also identify those things that you are trying to fill a void with. Ask God to show you what that is so you could replace it with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you replace it with him, like Jada said in Matthew 6:33, if you seek him first, he will add all those things to you. And I really do believe if we start seeking him, he will add those things to you.
Right. And so I guess, like, just in closing, like, you have any final thoughts about, how you, like, what you define fulfillment as, and like what you want the audience to really take away from this episode?
I define fulfillment as knowing who you are, whose you are, but also to being content in the things that God has already provided you and given you.
Mm-hmm.
And once you become a good steward of those things that he has already provided and given you, then you can receive fulfillment in other things. But until you are content with the things that you have, mm-hmm. and also be content within yourself to have joy and peace no matter what the circumstance is, and being able to control your emotions no matter what is going on, to know that God is still on the throne and that he will provide. That's how you know you are fulfilled, because you're not wavered to move just based off emotions.
Right. And I feel like just adding on to that, like, also understanding like fulfillment is not found in earthly possessions, but it is found in like seeking God and really obeying God and listening to God's voice so that he could direct you into like what things that you need to do to become the person that he wants you to become in order to live a fulfilled life. Because I feel like there's not one action that you do to become fulfilled. I feel like, God in the Bible lists out the different things that we should be doing to obey God, and with that comes that fulfillment.
And then fulfillment ain't gonna come if you continue in the sin and then you want to be fulfilled.
Right. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and comment down below like some key takeaways that you took away from this episode and your next steps forward into becoming more fulfilled and living a fulfilled life, and what your next steps are, and any things that made you really reflect on things that are going on in your life that you felt like, was supposed to fulfill you, but like how this episode kind of changed your perspective on that. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel here at MendHER Podcast, and comment down below, and also rate us 5 stars on all podcast platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. And let us know your thoughts and how you felt about this episode, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.